Reading has absolutely changed my life, okay? And I'm saying that because if you used to know me, you would be like, you're reading? Like, who is this person? But yes, I am reading. And I read every single day now. The first thing I do when I wake up is I turn over and I read my book. Even when I don't feel like reading or I'm like, I do it. So the most recent one I finished and I just did a review on it was How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you want to hear what I think about that, go watch that video. But I think it was a great book. The next thing though is when I start my day with reading, it feels like it allows my brain and my mind and my consciousness to like reconnect, like come back from the dream space, and I wake up more refreshed sooner. I have always been a morning person, an AM person, whatever. I've always been an early riser. That's what I'll say. I've always been an early riser. And at the same time, it previously took me maybe like 15 minutes to like an hour to really feel all the way awake. With reading though, by the time I'm finished reading, I feel like I've risen up already. So I get the same amount of awakeness in a really, really short amount of time. Also, it's like a different way of learning as well. I just started reading, okay? I would say maybe at the beginning of this year, I just started reading. Whenever I did that review of the Emerald Tablets book by Billy Carson, that's when I first started reading, like really, really reading. And since then, I have been like blazing through these books because while I'm reading, I'm also purposely seeking to lessen the amount of other content that I'm taking into my head, into my mind, because whether we know something affects us or not, it still impacts us. So I've been purposely not listening to certain music and certain content. And every once in a while, I'll revisit. Oh my goodness. I'll revisit and come back and listen just to get that little fix. But I don't allow myself to go too far into that rabbit hole anymore, because I notice that when I watch something salacious for an extended period of time, that my next couple days I'm a little bit more down and emotional than I usually am. So I'm purposefully limiting my amount of time with things that could be not serving my best and highest good, because I notice a difference in my ability to perform and in my just emotional well-being in general. So reading has changed my life. Dang it, my phone is not charging. Reading has changed my life also because it is giving me something else to do instead of watching the content of woke people getting owned for 3 hours, even though that stuff is hilarious. I just think it's funny. And so instead of doing that, I'm reading about, see you at the top, or how to benefit from stress, or I'm about to read The Comedic Spirituality, or a book about welding, or a book, like I just read about so many random things, and also things that I want to bring into my life. And these books give you the practical application of how to do what it is that you want to do, so that you can apply it and then make those necessary changes and continue to move on. One thing that I know is important from experience as well is listening and applying. It's one thing to hear something and use these tactics and motivations or whatever as motivation, and just to like, yeah, I'm feeling good and yeah, I'm feeling great, and then not doing anything. Success and being success and real success, when you're coming from it from these books and from the people who have it longevity, it teaches you to really take the measuring stick and extend that beyond. Previously, I was operating like a microwave because I've grown up in a microwave society where everything is now, instant, now. Gotta be right now, gotta be yesterday, gotta be 3 days ago. But there are slow things out there, and a stick of bamboo might be a fast growing plant, but it doesn't mean that you're going to plant a seedling or a sapling today and tomorrow have a 6-foot stick of bamboo, but once you get it going, you're going to have bamboo for a lifetime. Or when you plant the seed of an apple, it's going to take a number of years before that seed blooms, but it doesn't mean it's going to take you a number of years before you start to eat. You could buy a 3-year-old apple tree and start a little bit further off. You can use your grocery store scraps, and instead of starting from a baby sapling or a seed, you can start from a head of cabbage and keep it moving. So what you're doing now, day by day, little by little, you are doing the things that a gardener does in order to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And the books really, really highlight and teach you the importance of recognizing that. Because in order to have a successful garden, it needs a farmer, it needs a gardener. And at first, that gardener is going to be you. But it doesn't mean that you're going to be doing every single thing that traditional media is putting out there. It means that you're going to be doing what you need to do to feed yourself and the people that you're responsible for. So if that means that until your garden is growing, you have to work and you plant your potatoes at first, because you might not know how to do anything else, but you know that after a while, if you keep them potatoes out, they start rooting. You don't have to do anything to a potato, but just keep it in your bag. And by the time you go back to that bag after a couple weeks, it's either gonna be mashy, but you gonna have some roots up in there, and you might not know how to take care of something, but you know that if you put this thing in the dirt and you cover it up, something's probably gonna happen. And if you have a bag of old potatoes and you put that full bag of potatoes and you try a different method, you might not know how far you have to dig for your potato. But if you have 10 potatoes, you have 10 opportunities to dig different depths. You have 5 opportunities to go further in the ground, and you have 5 opportunities to go higher up. You might not know how much water your potato needs, but you have 10 opportunities to try different methods of watering. And eventually, out of those 10, a few will probably survive. And then from there, your potatoes will grow and grow and grow. And before you know it, you'll have a whole bunch of potatoes. You'll have a whole bunch of potatoes. Your whole yard might be full of potatoes. And then, okay, you know how to do potatoes. Perhaps you'll go out and try some onions next. Or you'll take your potatoes to the market. You'll cook with your potatoes. You'll sell your potato. Who knows? But now, all of a sudden, from that initial bag, you have the ability and capability to do more stuff. Because when you use what you have to the fullest extent that you can use it, you will have more to use. It's just a logical process. And nature shows us in the world that that's what happens. And so we have the capability and ability to do that as well. Isn't that wild when you think about it? You literally have the opportunity right now today to start and pick out, okay, what around me is my sack of potatoes? What do I just know how to do? This specific thing, I just know how to do it. I might not know everything about it, but this is my sack of potatoes. I didn't do anything with this, but it grew anyway. For example, if you like to cook and you just cook really well, you can start catering. You can sell food. You can also be a service to someone. Teach someone how to do something. Be a service so you can scale. or be in the middle between, be the middleman between the grocery store chains and the farmers, or between the farmers and the restaurants. You can become a farmer consultant and sell restaurant people good to restaurants. Sell farm goods to restaurants. You can, because farmers are not marketing people, and I don't know if they have a wide marketing department, but I'm certain that they don't have a salesperson. I'm certain there are farms out here, because farms are struggling. I'm certain there are some struggling farms that you can say, you know what, I can be your sales consultant, and I'll work off a commission at first. Let me sell 4 of your goods to local restaurants. Let me broker a deal for you, and then you give me a cut. And then after that, we'll discuss. And then you give me a recommendation, and for every recommendation you give me that actually gives me business for 3 months, I will give you a 10% cut after the 3rd month from their first order. Or I'll deduct 3% off of my commissions for a month for every person that you give me that stays with me for 3 months. You can do something like that. You can, like, there's so many opportunities out here. If you can use what you have, you can do more. There's so many opportunities. You just have to, like, read and try new things. And so reading has given me the capability to, okay, well, what else is there? And then once you read it, much like Napoleon Hill, and I believe maybe Dale Carnegie, but Napoleon Hill says all the time, and Mark Trudeau also says, once you know it, teach it. And a lot of people say that, but Napoleon Hill always says it. So when you start to orate and teach and speak about the things that you are learning or you're observing, you start to think of stuff too. Because I literally just thought of that dang one farmer idea because I'm talking about it. I might even look into that because that's a good idea. Shoot, sales agencies for farmers. That's a cool idea. And if you're really into gardening and stuff, why not? If you are a farmer, why not? Or teach other businesses how to negotiate. If you don't want to be the salesperson, you can have a class and teach people how to do it. You know, you help enough people get to where they want to be, and you'll be where you want to be. And so books are a portion of that. It's not the only thing that you need to do certain things. You have to read it. You have to somewhat understand it. You don't have to understand everything, but understand as much as you can understand. Revisit it later on, and then seek for ways to apply it, and then actually do it. Do what the things say. Don't just read it and feel good about it and think, oh, this is a good book. Okay, no. Apply what it is that you're learning, and then you'll get further, faster. And before you know, you'll be like, wow, look at all this progress I done did. I did more this week than I have in 3 weeks. I did more these last couple days than I have in 4 months. I got more business this last month than I did my whole life. So it'll start to pick up, and you'll start to realize that you have so much more to be grateful for. They also can teach you a level of emotional control and grace so that you can be comfortable in all settings, because an oligarch is never scared. Okay? An oligarch is comfortable in all settings. They are never scared. So you have to apply certain principles of what you see in others so that you can apply it and become that within yourself. And apply it, actually do it. And that's where reading comes in. It's like one of those steps that gets you to where you want to be, because the more things you change, the more things that will change for you. So when it comes to, first, like I said, I started I cut off reality shows. And let me tell you the funny thing that happened. I had an inkling, I had an inkling to watch one of the Real Housewives things, and they be having them on YouTube. And when I was watching them, I would watch it on YouTube like a couple days after it aired. So it would be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they typically would have them up there for a week, and then the new one comes and they put a new one up. So I was watching it, and I was like, okay, I haven't watched it in a while, so I can just do like one. It's fine, I can do one. And the dang one, I got like 3 minutes in, and this was like a few days. It wasn't, because I used to watch, like I said, like a couple days. This was like a few, and I'm like 3 minutes in, and the dang video is removed. I just started laughing. I was like, well, I guess I won't. So I did watch a couple of clips or whatever, but then I just kept it moving, because obviously I wasn't supposed to watch it. So anyway, when I purposely stopped watching it though, I was like, okay, whatever. So I noticed that my life was improving, like incrementally. Like, okay, I wasn't having as many issues with people. I wasn't having any drama, whatever. So then I started, I'm like, okay, now what's next? And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So a teacher can be anything. A teacher can be someone, a video that you watch, a person that you find, a class that you take. It can be something falling in your lap, literally, or anything can happen where you hear something. But there are certain things that you run across or hear that and make you be like, that, like piques your interest, like a little puppy, like, And anytime I have that feeling, I'll look into it a little bit more, because it called my attention. Something about it pulled me. So there was a series of interesting events that occurred that, like, until I got to this particular person who Kevin Trudeau, and he is a controversial figure. And I always say, everyone's your teacher. You can learn from anyone. Now, are you going to repeat every single thing that particular being does? That's on you. Or are you going to choose to deify this person, like some people I've noticed do? That's on you. But the point is that he mentioned reading is really, really important. And you should read every day for at least 5 minutes. And then I think it was, oh my God, my eye. This book, See You at the Top, where they also talk about reading for at least 5 minutes every single day when you wake up. And so I did that. And now I've noticed it even more change. And I also started to realize that I like to read. Who knew? Because I sure did. I started reading like on every single day in March, and it's April. No, it's still March. No. I started reading every single day in February, because it's March now. I started reading every single day last month, and I have already noticed significant changes. With that being said, I have been on a conscious effort to achieve certain things, and I've just kind of gone like cold turkey, and that came from a really, really crazy situation that just caused me to be like, you know what? I gotta do something different here. So that's why I also say, like, the worst day of your life is also the best day of your life, if you use that from a point like this is the lowest I've ever been, but I can't get no lower. And you use that and you just climb and 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 climb. And you stick to it and you say, you know what? That was then and this is now, and all I can do is improve. All I can do is get better, better, and better. And every day in every way, I get better, better, and better. Point blank, period. I'm excited. How about you? And one day at a time, and little by little, a little becomes a lot. Just like with the garden. If you water it long enough, if you mow that thing long enough, if you keep the weeds off it long enough, if you keep the bugs off it long enough, if you keep the animals off it long enough, eventually your garden will feed you and the population around you. So you just have to do the right things long enough to get results. And honestly, I could say that I'm having a great time. I'm having an absolute fantastic, phenomenal time. And I hope that you too will be able to have a lovely, loving experience and learn to be more calm and patient so that you can achieve what you want to achieve and have the life that you want to live. And that being said, thank you so much for watching. Comment below, like, you see, if you've been following, you know I be commenting back. I respond, baby. I read all the comments. Sometimes I'd be like, okay, this person's unhinged, and other times I think, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So either way, I appreciate it, and I hope that you have a great day. I hope that this inspired you to read, even if you were someone who didn't like reading like me originally. Now I love it. So I hope that you find books, and also don't just be out here reading anything, because if you want to have a certain experience, you have to engage and overindulge with certain things. So if you're gonna start reading, like, read some positive books. You know, I'm also very interested in like dark matter and magic, which I think is just like a science. And the more I've been reading these books, and the better I've been feeling, and I'm being consistent, really unexplainable things have been happening. Like, I'm not even going to get into it right now. I feel like that's more of something when I start like a Patreon for this, or a YouTube subscription, whatever I decide to do, or probably both, because it's better to diversify. That's when I'll start sharing those things, because then it'll be more of a safe space, because only people that are actually interested will be able to access it, rather than, you know, just everybody. Because, you know, some people will find your stuff just to vent their frustrations out, and there are certain things that are so sacred that you don't want, you don't feed diamonds to swine, okay, is the point. And so I'm not calling anyone swine, but if you feel offended, that's your fault. Something maybe you should think about how you respond to people. That's a point of development. That's how I look at it. And so, yeah, like, there's certain things that I really do want to discuss, but I just will feel like it will be safer in more of a secure space. So I am like focusing on growing the channel as well, because I'm having a great time, and honestly, like, making this content, and this is going to be another video, but making this new YouTube channel and just kind of like starting fresh has really been a learning journey for me. It forces me to teach myself the content as well, like Napoleon Hill, and I think maybe Dale Carnegie, but I know Napoleon Hill, like he always says, when you teach something, you learn it more. So having this particular channel is forcing me to learn more about the concepts, because when I get on here and talk, like, I don't plan this out, it just flows, and I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to whoever's listening. So I just want to appreciate you, whoever you are listening, because it gives me the courage to continue to post things, and then also gives me a space to like reflect upon what I've learned. And I'm a continuous learner. I love to learn, and I love to apply, and I love to grow, and I love evolving, and I love the opportunity to become a better version of myself, even if it's originally like a little bit uncomfortable. I love getting the opportunity to do that. So I just wanted to say thank you, honestly, for watching, and I hope you have a great day.